Through every possible emotion today. Right now, is it a feeling only football can give you?
Yeah, pride, and I think fully deserves the win. I think the way we played, the way we performed, the way we competed, I mean, the chances we generated, I think we fully deserve to win the game. We did it in a very dramatic manner at the end, but so happy and so proud for the team.
You said something before the game about scars making a team. Did it feel like all those heartbreaking moments that you've had here were kind of poured into, well, the whole game, but particularly the last few minutes?
100%, and that's how you get to a different level. But going through those moments and taking the learnings and experiences from it, and we discussed that in the game, and it's a massive opportunity now to make a statement and to prove to everybody and ourselves the team that we are, and we certainly did with the performance, and thankfully with the results as well at the end.
So is that what that was, a statement?
Well, and for ourselves, yes, just to prove, because it's a terrific team. It's so difficult to play against, and we already played at Old Trafford, we played at Anfield, we played Man City, we already played here very early in the season, and again, the level of consistency and quality we showed in the performance today was top.
Do you think maybe this is an external thing? It almost puts a different perspective on the start, because now you're right there, as you said, you've been to some really tough places, and won at a couple of them.
Yeah, we won, and the one that we lost, we won with a terrific free kick, you know. But again, I think the way we played, the courage, the determination, the intelligence, and the quality that we showed today against this team, it was very difficult to do.
So do you think, is there almost an element for the players of proving something to themselves a little bit?
Yeah, that we want to achieve that next level, and to achieve that next level, you have to come to these places with a lot of at stake, and when there are certain results yesterday, and you want to get back into it and show that conviction, that desire to get it done.
So does the Liverpool defeat yesterday, it feels like almost more of an end of season question, but do you think the whole weekend actually is big?
It's the opportunities. There are opportunities in the season, there are moments in the season. You have to come to this place and you have to win, and you have to find a way to do it, and again, the impact of the players coming in, it was tremendous, all of them.
Yeah, so just tell us about the attacking changes you made, Mikel. I'm not sure how much handbrake chat there'll be after this game, but putting Mourinho on, Martinelli, Odegaard, not giving up.
Yeah, everything that we have to throw everything that we had, because we were there and we needed just, I think Pop was exceptional. I think some of the saves that he's made, wow. Fair play to him, but we insisted, we believe, we maintain our composure again against a team that is very good at managing the results as well, and I think we fully deserve to win it. Should
we do a quick VAR watch? Because it looked like you had the chance early on to go ahead with the penalty. That was overturned. There was a moment towards the end when there's a penalty appeal against Gabriel where he has his arm up, but maybe it gets a deflection off the body. But your thoughts on those moments?
Well, I watch it back and watch it live as well there, and if it's not a clear and obvious error, VAR should not intervene. We've been told this for a few years, this start of the season again, and for me it's very clear that VAR doesn't have to intervene because it's a penalty.
Thank you, Mikel.
Thank you.
Thank you, well.
Only intervened to send the on-field referee to go and look at the decision, so it's slightly different in that he's reviewing his own decision rather than having somebody else overturning it. So he went and had a look, and that wasn't given. But overall, in terms of what Arsenal did in the game, we looked at the match stats a little bit earlier. So many shots on target, so much possession. The XG, whatever sort of weight we place on that, was so much higher than Newcastle. They dominated that game, and regardless of various controversial decisions, you would say they deserve to win it.
Yeah, of course. I think, you know, if you was in Newcastle changing room and you came in and you got a draw or you won the game, you'd have probably felt like a bit of a bandit, really. Do you know what I mean? You should have had a mask on because, you know what I mean, you didn't do enough to win the game. Defended very well. But, you know, they were under the cosh for most of the game. First half, I thought Arsenal were exceptional. And then for periods in the second half, Newcastle got back into it. But then, you know, towards the end, Arsenal were in the ascendancy again. And as you said, you look at the XG, you look at the shots, and you say, well, you can't come away and not say that, you know, Arsenal didn't deserve to win this.
But before the game, we were talking about whether Mikel Arteta's team selection would sort of give us an idea about what he thought about Newcastle. What do you think it did tell us, that he chose to approach this differently than he did Liverpool or Manchester City?
I think he went after this. He went after this today. You know, he played the attacking players. They were on the front foot, and you know, first half, Pope made 2 or 3 great saves that kept Newcastle in the game. So he went for it, and those players produced. Unfortunately, the goalkeeper was in fine form in the early part of the game.
He'll say, Mikel Arteta, that this was a game in which he could do that he was able to take the handbrake off, which clearly is not an expression he particularly likes. But, he'll say that he can do because he's coming here and he feels that they've got a chance, and that maybe he can't do it against Manchester City or Liverpool. Is that right? Or can Arsenal now be a bit more attacking in their approach going forward?
And I think it was purely based on the midfield. It's picking Marino or Eze last week. I think a lot of the fans would like to see Eze start. He went with Marino today, and Marino ends up the important player when he gets you the equaliser. So it goes either way. And I think today, Eze shows that you can trust him in these big games. He showed if you play him in the midfield position where he's one of the 3, he can get on the ball, he can make things happen. Certainly first half, he was the most creative influence on the game. He looked classy when he got it, made things happen. So I don't think there's a problem in that respect. But you can mix it up for certain games. But I felt that going the way they did against Liverpool, going the way they did against Man City, both times, when you've got an Eze in there, I think it was right to utilise him and play in that central position. But you know what, he'll be delighted. But saying all of that, and yes, they deserved it. Like Les said, the goalkeeper has a massive influence on that. If he just takes a breath, goes down, buys a few seconds, they don't end up winning the game. And they were, in the end, they were creators of their own downfall.
Half their goals this season, Arsenal, half of their 12 goals have come from corners. Is that a problem? Or do you look at the overall stats from this game and think, do you know what, they're creating loads of chances from open play. They are having those opportunities. And if they rely on corners at times, then so what? It's a valid way to get results in games.
Yeah, they're having opportunities. They're making opportunities in the game. And I think this is why we're talking. When we look at this Arsenal team, you look, if they play on the front foot, you think they're going to create chances, they're going to score goals. But everyone's got set-piece coaches now. And that's for a reason. That's for a reason, because you're going to get free kicks, you're going to get corners, and you might need to do something a bit different to score a goal from one of these set pieces. So if it weren't that important, why would you have set piece coaches?
And that's the thing. It's been really important this year. I think Arne Slot talked about it yesterday and said that it's becoming more and more important. It's never had an impact in the game, but it's becoming increasingly important. And that's borne out by the numbers. 28% of the goals this season have been scored from set pieces, which is an increase
Corners,
of 33%.
Not just that, throw-ins, you see what happens, and you see sides that you never believe will be taking long throw-ins. They're utilising it. If you've got a good long throw, it makes it so difficult to defend against. Brentford obviously get labelled a bit the most, but everyone else is doing it. You only got to look at the leagues this weekend. You looked at all the goals yesterday. We've got lots of goals yesterday. A lot of them come from throw-ins, but set pieces, you've got to be good in both boxes. Arsenal weren't so good at their own defence, obviously, when they get caught with a set piece, but they score the 2 vital goals from set pieces. It's the part of the game now. You can't deny it. But I do see a shift in the game. I see a lot more long passes now. I see teams that's going back to front a little bit quicker. If you've got a good centre forward that wants to run in behind with defences squeezing up so much, there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean you're a long ball team or you're,
some wins feel better than others. They just do. Bukayo, is that as good as it gets?
Nah, it's unbelievable, man. Late winners, nothing better in football, so speechless, man. I'm so happy.
So what were that sort of last 20 minutes like for you? Because obviously, coming back from injury, you're on the bench by that point.
Yeah, it's tough, you know, when you're on the bench and you can't control and affect the game, but, you know, when you have guys like this guy, you know, he's a big threat, and obviously Big Gabby as well.
A big sip of water there.
You know, like I was saying, you know, I have big trust in my teammates, and, you know, we got the win today, so happy days.
Go on then, Mikhail. Give us an insight into your emotions, scoring and then obviously winning it late on.
Yeah, I mean, as Bukayo says, it's unbelievable to win these kind of games. Late winners are the best, but obviously from my perspective it's even greater. Like, coming back here is always big for me, big memories, amazing plays in my life. But also being able to score and help the team coming on as a sub is incredible. And yeah, I mean, it couldn't be better to win in the last minute. And yeah, congrats to all the boys.
Yeah, do you know what? I forgot that for a second, that you used to play here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that makes it more special, I guess.
Yeah, it is very special. Always coming here is great to see all faces, all friends. I've had amazing memories here. I've only been here for 1 year, but still is a big part of my life, of my career. And yeah, to come here and score a winner, I had that again in the same goal as I scored for Newcastle a couple of years ago. It's magical.
Bukayo, does it feel a bit like a curse has been broken today? Because even 1-0 down at half-time, it almost felt for a few years like it didn't matter what you did here. Somehow it just went their way.
Yeah, and obviously there's a few things we can speak about. For example, the penalty, you know, for me, like, if we have VAR, it's for clear and obvious error. And the fact that it took the ref that long to decide, you know, it shows it's not a clear and obvious error. But it's things like this, you know, these little things that always go against us. But I think today we got what we deserved, for sure. And yeah, that's why we're all so happy.
Yeah, I saw your face actually when the penalty was overturned. I mean, to be fair, he does get a little bit on it, the goalkeeper, but you were stunned, I think.
Speechless, man, but doesn't matter now, does it?
It doesn't matter now. Mikhail, what does this do early in the season? It just feels like a bit of a swing weekend. Like, I think a lot of people, you know, guys like me, you go into the weekend, Arsenal could be 8 points back, you're 2.
Yeah, I mean, maybe more for the fans or for you guys than for us. We know the hard work we've been putting on, the kind of performances that we've been creating as well, and obviously winning the way we won today shows the character of the team, how much we trust each other, how confident we are, and that doesn't change, doesn't matter the result. So we're confident, we have an amazing team, an amazing squad, an amazing staff, obviously an amazing fans. So yeah, we're ready for it.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Well done, guys.
Sorry, in a sense, you weren't hanging on like loads of saves and clearances and last-ditch tackles. I didn't feel that way, but we're trying to work out who's playing where, because at one point there was nearly 4 or 5 centre-halves on the pitch, who's playing in what position, and that's what disappoints me, the winning goal. You know, Lascelles came off the bench, who's a big guy. Osula came off the bench. So you're adding more height to the team. You know, you've already got, you know, Chow, Botman, Dan Burn. You know, you've got a big team there. So disappointing that realistically, just like a straightforward corners come in from Odegaard. Good delivery, don't get me wrong, but
what's the goalkeeper's view of this like then?
Well, I feel like I hear the shout off, Nick, and I know there's someone challenging him. Is it Saliba perhaps on the keeper? I can't really see.
Yes, it is Saliba.
It is Saliba, yeah. And he just blocks
blocking.
But it's not a foul. It's not enough, to be honest. And Arsenal are very clever at this. But I don't know if Dan Burns ducked out of it because he heard.
He couldn't get off the ground.
No, but he heard Pope shouting.
Yeah, maybe.
It was definitely a clear shout from Pope.
I think Shay, it does, from a goalkeeper's point, has he got to make sure that he gets disengaged from where Saliba is, because that is so close. If you're not going to get the Dan Burns and the Botmans going and attacking that, the goalkeeper has to surely, from where that's gone in the goal, he's got to be at least getting a punch on that.
That's the frustrating thing. You know, Saliba's very clever, so it's difficult. Doesn't matter how big you are, right, he's a goalkeeper. If the defender's strong, it's hard to get round him sometimes. And I think that's what he's done. But I think Pope did shout, and he maybe shouted early, and then Saliba's come in late and sort of blocked his path. And I think the shout has sort of took Dan Burn, thinking, I'm just going to keep this Arsenal player out of the way, and Nick Pope's going to come and deal with it. But of course, it's a brilliant jump from Gabriel. Delivery was good, and they've taken the points.
Yeah, and as you say, Newcastle will have known what's coming. They will have worked on it. We saw those statistics there since August 2023. Wow. I mean, look at the difference between the next best, Chelsea and Spurs.
Honestly, again, it comes down to the service there. Shay, you can be testament to it. No goalkeeper, if you've not got defenders who's going to attack that, is comfortable with the ball coming there. No one. That's such a great ball into the box. So Gabriel does what he does. You know, he gets in there and he makes sure he gets something on it. It's a brilliant, brilliant goal.
Now, at 1-1, you were hoping Newcastle would hold out. At 1-1, Wrighty was actually asking the Lord, weren't you, to do something for divine intervention here.
There's a Sunday.
Sometimes you just have to go to a higher place when you need what you need.
Is that where you were?
Oh, jeepers.
Oh, so...
Two different reactions there, aren't there? What?
I'm so sorry, everybody at home. I'm so sorry. We have to win this!
We knew that. The scowl on Shay's face towards you just makes it even better.
There's always two sides to every story, isn't there? The sadness of conceding a late winner, and of course the joy that it brought to Wrighty's face.
I'm just really pleased with the guys who I work here with on a regular basis last season when they see how I act. But it's not for anything other than pure joy, because we needed to win this game so badly, Steve.
So let's get serious a minute.
Yes.
I mean, that's the type of thing champions do, isn't it, really?
Well, I think you look at last season, there were so many opportunities where Liverpool, we had to get into a game where you put pressure on Liverpool for something. We either drew the game...
Yeah, they couldn't do it, could they?
We couldn't do it. We've never done too many... I think the last time we done anything like this where we needed to win something in the death, I think it was Bournemouth a few seasons ago. But this is a game where we went in and I think we started very well. I thought we started very well. We had chances. But once they went 1-0 up, it was a game we had to play back in and get ourselves back into the game, make sure we don't lose it, and if we can, win it, because that's what we have to do to send the message to whoever's at the top, that we're not going to go away and we will dig in as far as we need to win these games to try and win this league finally.
Yeah, that will have been severely noted on Merseyside.
Absolutely, because what you want them to, what the message you want to give them is, you know, we're coming and we're going to be here. So, yes, you're 5 points clear, but now you're 2. You lost your game against Palace. We have to now take advantage of that, and we've done that. That's why even if a point would have been a little bit... It wouldn't have been enough for me, even though you'd have to take it. 3 points is what we needed to do today, and I'm just hoping that in that dressing room they realise that, how important it is to make sure that they take advantage of these slip-ups if they do happen.
If you're in the Newcastle dressing room, though, having seen it happen against Liverpool and then against Arsenal, to take nothing from the game, having given all that effort, there'll be a tough one to swallow.
Yeah, a very tough when you see Eddie walking around the pitch after. I think that's the frustration. You know, Arsenal have got quality all over their squad, they have, and they're good enough to open you up, Steve, and play an amazing thing is, and they work at attacking corners, but they work at defensive side of things as well. And that's the most frustrating thing. You know, we spoke about Eze and Cole beforehand. Odegaard comes off the bench. Saka, they've got some brilliant players, haven't they, Arsenal? And they can open you up and you go, we were beaten by a better team. They were a better team today, but we were beaten by an unbelievable goal. There's not much we could have done about that. But it's so frustrating that it feels just like a comfortable enough delivery into the box. Gabriel heads it in, and it's as you say, all that hard work, you know, and effort, and I think Tino Livramento looked like a bad injury as well. So it's a tough day for Newcastle to concede so late.
You know, the bench as well for us, Shay. The bench is vital for us and what we're going to try and achieve this season. And we've already seen on a few occasions, we've seen Martinelli, we've seen Trossard, we've seen Marino now. They're coming off the bench and they're making a difference. Odegaard coming off the bench making a difference. We're able to now be able to take someone like Saka off and bring Martinelli on, and, you know, people making differences off the bench. And that's what it's going to probably take. It's going to take that for us. And sometimes the manager's going to get the selection right, but then he's got the players on the bench where he can maybe change it around. And I think people need to have a little bit more patience with some of the decisions the manager makes and see once it's done if the players can justify the decisions he's made so as we can win games.
Yeah, because with that squad depth that he wants comes added issues and problems, doesn't it, in terms of getting the right 11 for each game.
Yeah, and pressure as well, because, like, there's a lot of talk now with people, with the manager saying, well, you've got the team you want. Spent a lot of money to get this team and assemble this team. We're talking about it, Shay. So now there's not too many more chances you can get in respect of making it happen with a squad that's capable of doing it. So he's now got to manoeuvre those players and get them into the position, whether they're playing off, coming off the bench, to deliver when they come on, because this is the year, I think, to deliver.
The backroom staff, I'm not sure I've seen a 6th Premier League game of the season ever celebrated bigger than that. That's how important that game was. And it was to do with their football that they penned Newcastle in. It was to do with their spirit. It was to do with their emotional control. More than anything, they had to believe in it. And with seconds to go, they still believe they could get a win. That's massive for them.
Tim, at half-time, you thought they'd come back and win 2-1, but as the second half was evolving, did you keep the faith?
Well, they have shown me that they're willing to continue to drive the extra mile. I mean, not just going that way. Declan Rice, he's a 6 or a double 6. There are times in the game, and we saw it, where they're piling forward, and he's the one that says, I'll get it. I'll get in a foot race, and I'll track all the way back. So they do that as a group. And look, Mikel Merino, there's something about this guy. He's not really a striker. He's not a classy stroke it around the park midfielder. He just has a knack for getting in the right places, and he shows that every time that the manager puts him on the field.
To your point back, so about, did we believe as the game's going? I think the most was like, I'm not an Arsenal player, I'm not an Arsenal fan. It doesn't really matter what we think. If that group in there, if they'll be in the dressing room now and they'll believe, and that will give them another reason to believe. And this was a big kind of what-if game for Arsenal. What if they don't get the job done? Are they really in a title race? They've shown that they're going to push and they're going to go as far as they can. Do
you think it could be a turning point for them, that today?
Yeah.
The way it happened as much as anything else, Tim?
I think so. I also think that as much as we're all probably on the outside, like, wanting this Arsenal team to go full throttle from the beginning of the game all the time, I just don't think that's who they are. That is who they are. They're enough quality in the end and enough belief to have to grind out results when they need to and play well in other games. So I think they've always had that belief. I'm not sure if it's a turning point per se, but they're certainly have Liverpool in their sights.
A word for Newcastle United, who've had a couple of moments this season, tough ones. I can think about the one against Liverpool and then today. What do you think is not quite working for them to hold on to leads and to pick up more points, Robbie?
Well, today, a little bit of game management. As you say, if the goalkeeper hands onto the ball, they get a point. They're still betting players in. Anthony Gordon, I think, disrupted things when he was suspended. Nick Woltemade has shown that he can get goals if they get service. So there's still parts for the Eddie Howe's team to come together. I think defensively they're pretty strong. I like the midfield three. But there's still work to do. And at home, when they get settled, they'll still be a threat.
I mean, it seems crazy and easy to say, but, like, what you just said, they're getting players back. Woltemade looks like he can get goals. Defensively, yes, they are sound like... They sit 15th. I think when we're here in May talking about Newcastle, they're up in 6th or 7th place.
Yeah, Newcastle United sitting, as you say, in 15th right now. Arsenal up to 2nd. Let's take you back to...
Right then, fasten your seatbelts. Newcastle 1-0. Lots to get through, but 13 minutes in, Arsenal awarded an on-field penalty. This back pass from Jacob Murphy. Luckily, we have a striker and a goalkeeper with us. So, striker, go first. Clear penalty for you?
For me, I'm probably giving that. I can't see any clear and obvious in that, to be honest, in respects of, he's through here, Steve. The keeper's, he's not coming to tackle him. He's coming to try and block the ball. He's going to try and flick over him. Look, he's not aiming to try and tackle him. The ball's hit him, Look, he's just trying to plant his foot. He's not trying to tackle. He's totally impeded
Which was the referee's on-field interpretation at the time.
Yes, they shouldn't have overturned that. He's not trying to tackle him. The ball's over there. He's just trying to put his foot down. So annoying.
A reminder what they said on field after the VAR. The referee overturned the original decision of penalty to Arsenal. The announcement, after review, the Newcastle goalkeeper plays the ball and there is no foul. And the final is drop ball.
Does he play the ball? Or
Shay, from the goalkeeper's point of view, live, what did you think?
I thought it was a penalty when I seen it.
Right.
I'm not saying it is a penalty. I thought it was a penalty when I seen it live. So what I would say is I don't think it's a clear and obvious error from the referee. I think he's seen it with his own eyes. You can see him in the top of your picture. That looks like a penalty. I think that everyone else...
So you're saying the referee's seen that he's touched that then?
No, the ref hasn't seen that. The ref hasn't seen that.
He's given the penalty.
He's given a penalty, so he doesn't think Pope's touched the ball at all. Now, the Darren England and VAR have said you need to come to the picture at the side of the pitch. He's got a touch on the ball, Nick Pope. I don't know the exact laws of the game, but he has touched the ball, Nick Pope, but then there's still a coming together after that. Does that still award a penalty?
Well, I don't know. This is what I'm saying. It just feels...
I don't know.
It just feels like someone... So that means, goalie, as long as you get some clip on it or some touch on it, Shay, you can take someone out.
What I definitely would agree with is it's definitely not a clear and obvious error by the referee. He's thought it's a penalty. We thought it's a penalty.
In your opinion, he shouldn't have been sent to the screen?
Well, that's not clear and obvious error for me.
I didn't think he should have been sent to the screen.
OK. Now then, from the corner given away by Mosquera, it was double punishment for Arsenal.
It was double punishment because Arsenal were the better team, no doubt, first half. Pope made some great saves, but it's a mistake, obviously, from Mosquera giving it away. And we did mention before the hand, defending corners because of the height that Newcastle have. Of course, Sandro Tonali's a great delivery into the box, and Valtamato said at 6'6", he's going to get your fair share of goals inside the box. Now, from a defensive point of view, Arsenal, I think, can do better. He should send an extra man out. I think Eze should come across. Trossard can cover the edge of the box.
Yeah.
And then maybe Sandro doesn't get the cross in. We'll circle Valtamato as well. He spins around the back again. Gabriel's looking for a foul. Steve, it's never a foul for me. He gets a touch in the back. It's just a bit of a coming together. But your big, strong centre-half cannot be going to ground on that. I think it's the perfect goal for me. And another brilliant header from the big man.
Yeah, it's a very good header. Yeah, there's a lot. I totally agree with Shay with all that analysis, really. I think probably the biggest disappointment is that Gabby, I think he's got to be in that instance, in that particular part of the area, he's just got to go and attack that as best he can. Obviously, Valtamato's 6'6". If it's too high for him, fine, but it felt like as soon as he got the touch, he went down maybe to get the foul, and I don't think you're ever going to get the foul like that. I don't think he pushed him like last season.
Newcastle lead, but only after Arsenal had a penalty appeal turned down. Now, I'm assuming you're quite conflicted here, Les, because while you want Newcastle to win, you're looking at this from a centre-forward's perspective.
Yeah, I am, and it's a great touch. And when I first saw it, I shouted. I think Pope gets a touch. Maybe that was out of willing more than anything else. But then it goes through. He does get a touch, and my understanding is, as a centre forward, I'd probably want the penalty. But my understanding is, once the goalkeeper gets a touch and he deviates the ball, it's not a penalty, because I don't know what Pope can do there.
Yeah, I think he gets a touch, but I'm not sure it's enough to negate, the foul. I think, and I'm amazed that got overturned. I have to be honest. I know what you're saying, Les. I think when you look at that one, we saw one last week with Sanchez and then Burmo when Sanchez got sent off. Even though he got a touch, he still fouls the player, and that's my feelings with it. You can see Gyökeres just anticipates it, gets away from him, and he definitely clears him out. That I can see both sides of it, but I think I was surprised it got overturned. And
interesting that it was the referee went for an on-field review rather than the VAR overturned it on what the on-field decision. But then Mosquera gives away the corner in quite a strange circumstance.
Sloppy, yeah, and they've been so good, Arsenal. I thought for 36 minutes, 36, they were fantastic, and then they just play a really clever short corner. Play it back in. Voldemort, Les, I'll leave this to you.
Yeah, Voldemort, I mean, I looked at it, and when I first looked at it, I saw Gabriel go down, I thought, oh no, he's put two hands in his back. But then when I look at it again, when Gabriel sees this, he'll be embarrassed.
Yeah, it's too weak.
He'll be embarrassed when he sees that.
And that's just in front of us. In real time, it did look like there'd been a push.
Yeah, and because and I think it looked like there was a push because all the players started appealing for it. But then when you see it again, you think,
yeah, and then there was a little bit of afters, Les, as well.
Yeah, I know.
That's a little bit. He should have got pushed for that.
He should have done that at the beginning. He might have stopped the goal, do you know what I mean? But
and what about, in terms of the header, Les? We were talking before how important it is for him to get off to a good start. That's huge for him, isn't it?
This is his second goal here, and it's two headers. One of the things he's not really noted for, because you look at his size and you expect him to head the ball a bit more. He's not noted for it, but he took that really, really well.
Yeah, only one headed goal across the whole of last season. That's two for Newcastle.
That's what happens when you get that number 9 shirt on here.
Yeah.
Gives you a superpower.
Maybe that's what happens when you get the crosses into you and you get the kind of set pieces working. Eddie Howe talked about the importance of them and how crucial they could be in this game. Just shows one more headed goal in the Premier League than you, Jamie. 39 to go until he gets to your record, Les. But as things